Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Sagittarius, let's jump on in. We're going to start with overall energy through oracle cards, and then we'll dive deeper into the story with tarot as we progress. So let's start here with this recent past energy for you, Sagittarius. What have you guys been dealing with? This energy feels interesting. Expect powerful change. You're very close to achieving your goal and bring love into this situation. It feels like pressure has been building, and then there's this just explosion, and not in a bad way necessarily. That's not what I'm saying, but it feels like there's something that this energy has been gearing up for, change or transition. I mean, you do have expect powerful change, but it does feel like you've been on this path for a while, and I don't necessarily know the details of it. We're just looking at overall energy, right? We'll dive deeper into this with tarot. But you've been on this path for a while, and everything that has happened in the way that it needed to get to this place of explosion or change. I don't know. It's like every single aspect had to be the way that it was to get to wherever this is taking you. Now, this probably sounds really confusing. It's confusing to me too. But I do very much feel that it's this is all happening for a reason. Even if it doesn't feel good, or even if it's been if it's felt negative, I feel like it is positive in the bigger picture sense. And it doesn't mean that you need to look at it positive, because I don't even know what this is talking about. But yeah, it's this pressure has been building for things to change pretty aggressively. In a good way, though. It's good change. Current energy for Sagittarius. Look at the bigger picture. Interesting. Don't let your past hold you back. What do you need to release? Release something from the past. Could be beliefs that you carry, things that are still needing to be healed. Could be actual situations. But here's the thing. It's some sort of situation had to take place for some sort of shift to happen, right? We talked about that. But it's almost whatever this was, it feels like it was very much a stepping stone, or a next step, or almost a final step in some sort of journey. And I don't feel like this worked out the way that you expected. Man, I feel like I'm being so vague right now, but I'm doing the best that I can with the way that I'm feeling this. It's the final step before change. So now this is about letting go of this and moving to the future. But I don't know. I don't know. And in your current energy, I feel like you're definitely feeling a little lost right now. Because especially if you're looking back and you're going, why the hell would the universe do that? Or why would the universe put me through that? Or why would that happen? Trying to make sense of everything. What does Sagittarius need to know moving forward? Man, this reading has me really intrigued, because I'm what is this talking about? Also, sorry if I'm sniffling today. I'm on the tail end of getting over a cold. I'm still dealing with some symptoms, but feeling a lot better. What does Sagittarius need to know moving forward? Don't let pride get in your way. Interesting. Time to release negativity. Okay, but where is this taking, Sagittarius? That's what I want to know. I get what this is saying. Believe in the impossible. It's because the word that keeps coming to mind is failure. And I'm not saying you are a failure or that what happened in the past was even your fault, but something, it feels like reaching some sort of a dead end, some sort of a feeling of failing, a feeling of failure. And I think that it's interesting because I've always said that failure is never destination. Loss and failure are never destinations, but merely the indication that you're still in the middle of a journey. And the journey can always continue as long as you're willing to look at failure, loss, obstacles, challenges through the lens of this is helping me get to where I want to go instead of this is proof that I can't get to where I want to go. And I feel like that's what's really important for you right now. Because the things that you desire, the love that you desire, the financial abundance what you desire, whatever it is, Spirit's saying, don't give up on those things. But understand that when you ask for the things that you want, don't be surprised when certain things start to change. And there's a quote for this. It's like, when you pray for flowers, don't be surprised when it starts to rain. When we start to ask for the things that we want, we have this idea in mind where it's like, oh, it's going to work out, it's going to be easy, it's going to happen like this. And then when things don't go according to plan, we immediately jump to worst case scenario, which is things aren't working out, things are worse than before, whatever. But it kind of feels like certain things had to happen, certain things had to change, maybe end, or something to lead you to like the right path or right direction or right next step that takes you to the thing that you're praying for, or asking for, or trying to manifest. That's what that feels like. It's like I kind of have a little bit of a example of this. When I first started my manifestation journey, I was working as a financial advisor out in San Diego, California. And I had this relationship that it was very unhealthy, very toxic, but this person, woke me up, put me on a spiritual path. So I was, believed they were my twin flame. I was very obsessed with this relationship. And I had a pretty good idea of where my life was headed. Well, when I started my manifestation journey, I had in mind, I wanted to experience unconditional love with somebody who loved me unconditionally. I wanted success. I wanted to feel very purpose-driven. Like, I had all of these ideas and things that I wanted. And within a year of starting this manifestation journey, my entire life fell apart. Like, everything fell apart. I didn't have my job anymore. I lost friends. I lost family members. I lost that relationship I was talking about. My bank account hit zero at one point. Like, I was in the lowest place of my life. And I remember sitting there going, what the hell? Like, I was like, I wish I never would have started this spiritual journey. I wish that I never would have tried to manifest. I should have just left well enough alone. And the whole time when I was at this, like, just the lowest point of my life, I remember the universe, there's a song called You Asked for This by Halsey. I don't necessarily love the song, but I was familiar with it. She had released an album very close to this time, and I kept hearing this song in my head. It was in everywhere I'd go, and it was a very popular song. And I was like, what in the world? It's like the universe was saying, like, you wanted this, you asked for this. And I remember being like, no, I'm at the lowest point of my life. Like, I did not ask for this. Well, then fast forward a couple of years later, I'm married to the love of my life. I'm running a successful business, and I'm experiencing so many things in my life beyond my wildest dreams that I literally never would have gotten to experience if my life hadn't have fallen apart. And I see now, I did ask for this. I asked for the life that I'm living now. I just didn't realize that the path to get here would go the way that it did. And so in the middle of that was where, so much of my transformation took place. And I think that this is something like that. And I'm not just talking about myself for no reason. It's just the best story or explanation I can bring to this energy, where it's like, certain things fell apart, or there was this failure, this way that things didn't work, and you're viewing it as this like destination. But Spirit's saying, no, this isn't a destination. This is part of the journey to get you to where you're trying to go. Overall theme of this: transmute fear to faith, shift, and trust. Trust the shift. Trust the shift that's taking place. And that's the thing, is like, I don't know if this is like a very welcomed shift. Maybe it is. For some of you, it might be. You might be excited about this transition or this transformation. But for some of you, I feel like, no, I want to go back to how things were. And Spirit's saying, no, absolutely not, you don't. But that's just because you don't know what's coming. Because what's coming is so much better than what's gone. But I feel like you're having a hard time believing that. So this transmute fear to faith, transmute, pain to healing. sometimes we can take some of the hardest experiences in our life, the biggest failures, the obstacles, and the challenges, and we can either let them define us, or we can look at the purpose, right? And I do feel like there is purpose for everything you've been through to this point, and I think that you will see that as you get to where you're going. So, yeah, this is a pretty powerful read for somebody, and I feel like as you're, stepping into kind of this energy of this new beginning, even if things feel uncertain or shaky or rocky and you're sitting there going, this is not what I wanted, just trust that things are working out better than you think. Because sometimes when we ask for the things that we desire, we have to become the person that we need to be to attract those things. And a lot of what that comes with is healing and growth. And that part isn't very fun. Everybody wants the destination, but not necessarily to experience the process. But the process is the point. It's why we're here. All right, let's jump into this even more. Let's look at this past energy. Let's see what... Ooh, yeah, there's a lot of disappointment in this energy. Ace of Cups, an explosion of emotion too. Ace of Cups, Five of Cups, Justice in reverse. Feeling very screwed over, feeling very let down. All of these feelings are valid, and I am absolutely not saying you shouldn't feel this way. But yeah, there's a lot of heaviness in this energy, a lot of expectations that were unfulfilled, a lot of things didn't turn out like you expect. But it's almost like, because the Seven of Swords to me is this energy of not having all of the information, or like not being able to see the truth because you don't have all of the information, or you're not able to see things clearly because certain things are hidden from you, or just our human brains can't comprehend everything at once. But then this Two of Wands is all about alignment. It's like what you don't know, what you're unaware of, or what Spirit is trying to bring forth in this reading is that what has taken place is pushing you further into alignment. Now, I don't know what happened here, okay? So I am not saying that you need to look at this, whatever it is that you've been going through, as a good thing, okay? I'm not a toxic positivity kind of person. If it sucks, it sucks. Allow yourself to feel like it sucks. But faith is something that is so much more than a feeling. And it's about trusting the bigger picture, which you literally have to look at the bigger picture of the journey and the process. And if there's one thing that I've learned, it's that manifesting what you desire is easy, but it's not comfortable. Creating the life that you deserve is possible, but it's not something that's just a freaking walk in the park. It's hard, and it requires a willingness to tap into some really deep parts of you and to face some of the things that have been hiding for a really long time. And sometimes that is grief and sadness and guilt and shame. And sometimes we go through situations that brings all of these things to the surface, not to punish us, but to have us face the very things that keep us believing that we're not good enough or not capable or can't have the things that we deserve and desire. And I think that this is trusting that there is very much a purpose for the things that you're going through. More so than you even realize. Doesn't make it easy, and I'm not saying that it needs to be easy. But yeah, I definitely feel like Spirit is asking you to trust. I mean, literally, you have the word trust. Current energy for Sagittarius. What do you need to release? Look at the bigger picture. Ooh. Yes, so you're not seeing things clearly. Ace of Swords in reverse. Not everything is as it seems. Oof. Five of Wands is all about resistance. Resistance to change. Resistance to transformation. And naturally, as humans, we resist these things, even though these things are going to take us to what we want. Look at that, Nine of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles in reverse. The Four of Pentacles to me is all about like building a foundation. Like you have to have, the bottom row, like think about building a tower. Like even if it's just a tower of like blocks, it's like you got to build the bottom row before you can build the second row, before you can build the third row. And sometimes if that bottom row is unstable, right, you got to knock the whole thing down, create a solid foundation to build on. And I think that that's a lot of what's happening is it's not that certain things that you're not allowed to have the love that you deserve, or that financial freedom is just always going to be out of your reach, or whatever the case it is, peace, but that sometimes we have to go through certain things to learn, heal, grow, evolve. There's always a purpose. And when we're willing to surrender to whatever that is, because a lot of times we don't even know the purpose until we get to where we're going, right? I didn't know that the worst period of my life was the best thing that ever happened to me until I got to the good part, right? So when you're in it, you're never going to really know it. You're going to have people try to tell you it, like some random person on YouTube, and you're going to go, absolutely not. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know how hard this is, and I can't trust that this is working out for me. This is so hard. This is so heavy. I get it. Absolutely, I do. I remember meeting with a spiritual teacher when I was at the lowest point of my life, and they were like, aren't you so excited? You're starting this new beginning. And I was like, what the hell? Absolutely not. Like, I was so miserable and I was struggling so much during that period. So hearing that things were working out for me was like, what are you talking about? You obviously don't know what I'm dealing with. So, I think that as you're in going through this process, it's not, sitting here going, everything is working out for me all the time, even when it doesn't feel like it, because again, that's toxic positivity and that isn't healthy for anybody. But it's allowing yourself to surrender to the change that's happening, to the shift that's happening, to the things that are unfolding, to the things that are ending, what you're stepping into, allowing yourself to surrender to all of it. And surrender doesn't mean letting go. It means giving it over. It means saying, I'm not going to try to control this. I'm not going to try to resist this. I'm going to let this change happen, and I'm going to move in the direction of what is meant for me the most, and trusting that that's going to be even better than anything that you've been clinging so tightly to. Because that's what I get. It's like you've been clinging really tightly, whether it's to like an old life or an old relationship or habits or patterns or addictions. I don't know. And Spirit's saying you got to surrender those things over, because if you resist the change, you're resisting the abundance. And you might not realize that that's the case, but that is the case. Spirit's saying if you're resisting the unknown and the uncertainty that comes with some sort of change, you're resisting the very abundance you're trying to draw in. So I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying you should just look at it as easy, but I do think that these messages are very meant for somebody who is needing a little bit of maybe hope or trust that things are moving in the right direction for them. What does Sagittarius need to know moving forward? One thing they don't tell you about growth, this sucks most of the time. It's always worth it, but it is not easy. It's not fun. Growing and healing and, surrendering and all the things that they talk about in the spiritual world, none of it is fun. It's all worth it, but none of it is fun. Ooh, okay. King of Cups in reverse, Seven of Cups. Strength with the Nine of Wands. That's interesting that I put that as a cross. I just did that without even really realizing it. Okay. There are two mindsets that we can have when we're approaching our life. And I say, what I've kind of coined the terms is victim mentality or creator mentality. And a victim mentality is basically saying, there's nothing I can do, the world is against me, nothing's ever going to work out, I'm always going to live like this, I'm always going to be unhappy, miserable, alone, whatever. A creator mentality says, things aren't working out for me, that didn't go as planned, but what is this trying to teach me? What is this trying to show me? How is this trying to help me move forward into a more powerful version of me, a wiser version of me, a stronger version of me, a more healed version of me? And when we approach our life from that place, we take our power back, because we're no longer saying that life defines us, but we're deciding that we define what our life is going to be. There's a quote from world-renowned psychologist Carl Jung. It's one of my favorite quotes, and it is that you are not what has happened to you, you are who you choose to become. And I cannot resonate or agree with this quote more, because so many people allow the obstacles and the challenges and experiences of failure to define them. I'm a failure. I can never succeed. I can never have, look at this proof as to why I'm not enough or why I'm, whatever. Or, you could be the small percentage of people that look at the obstacles and the challenges in their life as blessings, who are able to say, this might not be what my ego wants, but I do know that this is guiding me to something better, or this is helping me in some way, some unknown way. And for me, some of the most difficult periods of my life, some of the heaviest grief that I've felt, or the most intense negative emotions that I've experienced, they transformed me as a person. They opened my heart more. They gave me more wisdom. They gave me the ability to show up better for others, or the ability to show up better for myself. And I don't say that from this place of like, oh, I'm so grateful for them and I want to experience more of them. But when we give purpose to the things that we go through, we understand that life isn't about this thing that happened to us or these things that we experienced. It's about understanding what the purpose of that was to get us to where we're trying to go, or to get us to a life that we do truly deserve. But we have to be willing to see things from the perspective of, that wasn't proof of my unlovableness or unworthiness or lack of capability. That was showing me something, an area that I need to address, or whatever the case is. So Spirit's saying to get to where you want to go is 100% up to you. It's up to you. And that might be hard because you're like, no, because my boss and this person and that person. Don't focus on what other people do or won't do for you, or how other people have failed you, okay? Because that's going to make you consistently feel powerless. Focus on how you can show up for you despite the things that you've been through. That's where your power lies, and that's what sets the people who create the life that they desire apart from the people who don't. And it's not that the people who don't create it are weaker or not good enough. It's that life is freaking hard. It's hard and it's challenging, and after you get through enough challenges, you kind of are like, screw it, I don't want to do this anymore. I get it, especially on a healing journey. Like, I remember being like, I wish I never started. Like, this has been so hard and so challenging. So with the strength and with the 9 of Wands, what I feel and why I feel like they were crossed is Spirit is saying the only thing that can stand in your way of the life that you desire is you. And there might be certain situations that have, that you felt powerless in. Look at the lesson. Look at the growth. Focus on the healing. And not that you're not, but when you look at things as, oh, this is happening for a reason, this is giving me, this is happening for a purpose to drive me forward into better, into more, into an abundance or whatever, then life gets a hell of a lot easier, because not every bad thing that happens to you becomes proof that you can't have the life that you desire. It becomes hope that you're getting closer to the things that you want. So I think that as you move forward, it's, letting go of these beliefs that life has given you, beliefs about your worthiness, your deservingness, how supported you are by the universe. And I see it all the time. I get these comments all the time on my channel. Why would I believe the universe has supported me when it hasn't for 50 years? Or nothing ever works out for me. Nothing's ever going to work out for me. And I have nothing but love and empathy for people who, believe these things. But I've also learned that those people are telling on themselves. They're showing me and themselves in that moment what they believe is possible for their life. And our life and what we get to experience in this world is a direct reflection of what we believe is possible for us. And if life has taught you that you're not good enough, that you can't have the things that you want, you can either let life define you, or you can say, that's not who I am. That doesn't make me me. Those are experiences I had, and they're part of who I am, but I'm not going to let that failure make me feel like a failure. I'm not going to let that heartbreak make me feel like I'm meant to be alone forever. I'm going to look at that as an opportunity to get me closer to the things that I desire. And when we're willing to do it that way, I promise you, you can create really cool things in your life. You can create miracles. The only thing that got me through that worst period of my life actually was this hope that the universe was saying, no, you asked for this. You wanted this. And I remember not believing it in the moment, but there was this part of me that was saying, okay, maybe I did. Maybe this is leading me to something better. Maybe I am going to rebuild a life of my wildest dreams. And then I did. And I didn't do it overnight, and I didn't do it by making just one big decision. It happened with this commitment to never giving up on the belief that I was deserving of more. And the reason that I'm so confident in the fact that our life is a reflection of what we believe we deserve is because I've lived it. So all I want for everybody that I read for is to create the life beyond their wildest dreams. And if it's possible for me, it's possible for you. I'm certainly not special. Per the law of oneness, what's possible for one person is possible for everyone. And all I want for anybody in this world is to get to experience all of the wonderful things that they deserve. So trust this transformation, trust this shift, surrender to the process, and I think you'll be pretty surprised at where it takes you. All right, I'm going to hop on over to the extended. I'm going to dive deeper into these messages, looking at what you need to do right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. So looking more at tangible advice, and then I've got an advice card to pull for you at the very end. Before I end this video, I do want to remind you guys that I am hosting a financial freedom workshop on Friday, September 19th at 6 p.m. Central Time. It is a live workshop. However, if you can't attend live and you purchase a ticket, you will receive a recording and all of the materials the next day. I am so excited about this workshop. The full title is Manifesting Financial Freedom, Transform Your Relationship with Money. I used to be a financial advisor before I stepped into my role as a spiritual coach. And this workshop is something really special to me because it kind of is a combination of my past life knowledge and what I've kind of learned through being a spiritual coach and helping people with their finances this way. And it's been a long time coming. I've put a lot of heart and soul into this workshop, and I'm really, really, really excited for it. So any information is at the very top of the description box below. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a comment or shoot me an email, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much, Sagittarius, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Sagittarius.